Let's have a conversation.
What's up, y'all? Let's have a conversation about the Challenge USA 2, episode 4. The episode was fire. The episode was fire. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all the episodes so far. Um, I'm just pulling up my notes here. I was supposed to have done this way earlier, but honestly, I fell asleep. And then I woke up, I had things to do. So I had to get up and take care of some responsibilities. So I'm going to throw in this quick recap and then I'm going to go about my business. So the episode starts off recapping the fact that there's an alliance called the Secret Garden. The Secret Garden is 7 ladies. The ladies are Michelle, Alyssa S., Chanel, Desi, Tiffany, Michaela, and Alyssa. I believe they were saying that the main people in that alliance were Chanel, Desi, and Tiffany because they're all friends. I've actually met Chanel and Tiffany like months ago, so I already knew that they were friends. But yeah, I think it was saying that those 3 were friends, and I believe maybe Michaela and other people were like extra members of the alliance because of friends of friends and friends of friends. But the point is, there were 7 of them. Once again, Michelle, Alyssa Snyder, Chanel, Desi, Tiffany, Michaela, Alyssa Lopez. That was the Secret Garden. They were setting us up again by telling us that again because that was going to be relevant later. So Bananas, they showed us, had just left at the end of the previous episode. He left Team Red for Team Blue after he won his elimination against Paulie. He removed Corey from the blue team, so now Bananas is part of the blue team. So it's like a lot of the blue team wanted him out, and a lot of the blue team was winning. I mean, the blue team was winning a lot of the dailies. So he's like, okay, the best way for me to do this is to get on this blue team. He took Corey off because, well, revenge, and probably he felt like he couldn't trust Corey. Now he's on a team with Tori, which is great for him because both of them have not had a leg to stand on thus far. So we get into the house. Josh gonna Josh, and I have to admit, as much as I have just disliked Josh over the years, Josh's particular brand of drama in this type of season was refreshing and much needed. So Josh believes that Lewis and Desi voted for him, which they're not denying, so it seems like they did. And he starts a whole hissy fit in the house. I'm coming for Luis and Desi. All the green team is just sitting around and smiling in people's faces with y'all is some P words. And I'm like, Josh, gonna Josh. So it shows Desi having a vulnerable moment. I don't know if it was tied to everything that Josh was saying, but I could imagine Josh's rant being much longer than the 1 to 2 minutes that they showed us on TV. I don't think it had to do with that, but that couldn't have helped, I'm sure. And she was basically saying that the way that other people revere her and view her as a challenger and a competitor is not the way she views herself, which is amazing because I don't believe on the Challenge USA 1 they ever showed her having that type of moment. I've always seen her as some big badass, challenger that can just take people out, kick butt, and take names. That's how I've always seen not Michaela, Desi. So it was interesting, and she was being comforted. I think Chanel was in the room. Chanel was telling her we've all had those moments. I think Tiffany might have been in there. I don't remember. There was a few of them in there that were just telling her, like, the game gets to everybody. Don't worry about it. You are a great competitor. We believe in you, etc. And giving her hugs. And that was a nice moment because sometimes when a player is too tough, they come across like Laurel, how Laurel had come across for a number of years, where she probably had vulnerabilities and insecurities, but she was so mean and so, oh, I can beat any of you. I'm not scared of anyone, that nobody really liked her. So I think this Desi moment, I mean, Desi, not that Desi was ever as disliked as Laurel, but I know that for sure the diehard challenge fan base probably doesn't like how she's going against Wes and going against all the vets, which we'll get more into a little bit later. So we get into the daily elimination, and basically the two teams that are doing the best are the green team and the red team. So we get into the last round, and the blue team realizes, and particularly it was Chris's idea. The blue team realizes, excuse me, the blue team realizes that they're not. Am I right on this? Yeah, the blue team realizes that they're not going to win. They realize that they don't have the numbers to win, even if they get all of their discs onto the van. So, so what they end up doing is they send out Johnny Bananas and Tori out there to block Monty and Michaela. So all they had to do is prevent Monty and Michaela. I forgot what number they had to get, 10, 11, I don't know. Either way, they got 3 because it was just a game of just blocking them. So they assisted, the blue team assisted the red team to get the win. So essentially, they're kind of teamed up with each other. So therefore, they have like a gentleman's agreement, I guess you could call it, not to go after the people in the blue team. So we get into the deliberation because the red team wins, and the winning team gets to pick one guy and one girl to send into a limb. And this week is a double elimination. So it's not guy or girl, it's both guy and girl. Okay, so where we're at with it is the red team is safe, but Josh gonna Josh. They showed this thing of Josh being like, I'm gonna protect my friends, I'm gonna protect Wes and Amanda. And I'm like, I know Amanda's his friend. Well, I can't even necessarily say I know Amanda's his friend, because I know that at one time Amanda had beef with him based on the incident that he had with what's her name, Ashley. But I guess they're friends now, because you never know. You know, people talk in the off season, and it's been a long time since Josh was on the challenge, so they probably patched things up. I know they were friends at one point. And Wes, though, the thing of him saying Wes is his friend was surprising to me, because I'm like, Wes is currently going around being like he doesn't deserve to be on the challenge. So I don't know if something happened with them again later in the season, but as of now, they seem to be cool and cordial, and he didn't want to say his name to put him into the limb. Interesting. I don't know if it's strategy. Um, I don't know. I can't tell you if this is strategy on Josh's part, but wow, he sure knows how to dominate a moment. So they got into this deliberation, and Josh dominated this. You know, like he was just like, he looked at he said, I want Desi and I want Lewis. And the alliance members are like, I want Wes and Amanda, because that's what they've been doing this whole time. So then Josh looks at Chanel, Josh looks at Tiffany. Do you think you could beat Desi in a final? And 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, so yeah, he says, "Do you think so?" Chanel speaks up, and she was like, "Do you want to run the final with Desi, or do you want to run the final with Amanda?" I mean, I don't know. I guess she could be saying that the teams could split up at some point, and they could get redistributed or something. I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible that happens in the challenge. But essentially, she's just saying that because she's trying to protect her alliance, and I don't blame her. I'm pretty sure this is Chanel's first time on the challenge, and a lot of them are either first or second time challengers. So they want to stick with their numbers, and then I guess their plan would be to duke it out with each other once they got out the vets, or not necessarily each other, but the people who are outside of their alliance, right? So where are we at here? Josh is like, I don't care if we get a stalemate, because he did all the numbers up and realized it would be 3-3. I don't care if we get a stalemate. I don't care. Like, it's not a big deal to me. I don't care. And Chanel was kind of also like, I'm not scared. She said in the confessional, she was like, I don't care if he makes it a stalemate and puts my name in the hopper, because I'm not scared to go into an elimination. So Chanel was the one who was the most stuck on it being Wes and Amanda. It's like, I want Wes and Amanda, Wes and Amanda, Wes and Amanda. So Josh, okay, so where we? So Josh at one point said, "Are we playing Survivor?" Because they wanted to protect all the Survivor players. Um, so Michelle ended up saying Lewis' name instead of Wes. So with the three votes for Lewis and the 2 votes for Wes, it ended up being Lewis. Now, if you guys are interested in a spoiler, I'll tell you. If you're not, you got like 5 seconds to click off or flip off whatever you need to do, and then I'm going to tell you something that's a little. It's not like a episode spoiler or anything that happens in advance, just a spoiler for this specific episode. So I'll give you a few seconds. All right, so secretly, Wes has said that he was in an alliance with Michelle. So that was the reason why Michelle didn't say his name. But you saw that Michelle was like, I'm going to blame it on the chaos. So they were keeping their alliance with each other under wraps. So that actually protected him from being the name that went in. She took some heat for that, but yeah, that's that. Where are we at here? So then we got into the girls' decision, and they didn't want Desi to go in, but Desi was up a vote. So Tiffany could have tied up the vote and made it a stalemate. But as she has explained yesterday on her Twitter, she was like, if it was a choice between it being a stalemate and my name going up for elimination in the hopper versus trying to stay and do what I had to do to stay in this house and get my money from my son, it's me and my son over everything. So she threw out Cassidy's name simply because Cassidy's name is not saying Desi's name, which she agreed not to do, and it doesn't make it a stalemate. So because of her vote, it didn't tie it up, and Desi was going in. So surprisingly, I mean, Chanel was mad at both of them for that, but surprisingly, overall with the Secret Garden Alliance, it seems like they were a lot more mad at Michelle for not picking Wes than they were at Tiffany for not tying it up. I guess maybe because the tie up would put all of them in jeopardy. So they're like, despite the fact that she could have tried to make sure that Desi didn't go in, they're like, we see benefits for us. Whereas the other one was just flat out like, we agreed Wes and you didn't put up Wes. So it is what it is with that. Josh caused all this chaos in that deliberation, and he ended up getting what he wanted amazingly. Because we saw a deliberation where Wes was neutralized. We saw a deliberation where Bananas was neutralized. We saw a deliberation where Tori was neutralized. Hurricane Josh is somehow the first person who got what he wanted. out of one of those things when everyone was against him or a lot of people were against him. So, but the thing with Josh and the thing with the way this season is set up, you win one week, it affects you down the line. So, how that's going to affect him down the line, I don't know, but is it going to affect him down the line? I'm sure it is. I am sure it is, to be frank. Okay. So we have Michelle and Lewis. We have Amanda and Lewis. I'm sorry. We have Amanda and Lewis. That's who are the choice by the winning team to go in. Who are they going to go against? They end up the lotto balls end up putting them against the two people who had the most votes, which are Chris, which was not a surprise because the whole green team agreed about Chris. But they also agreed about Cassidy, and they all told Wes, we're going to vote in Cassidy, and they didn't. There was 9 votes for Amanda. So they're not even keeping Wes in the loop of what they're doing with this team, which furthers my theory of what I said last week. Wes is expendable to them. Wes is expendable to them. So in the first round, Chris beat Lewis. It was basically a pole wrestle. I mean, they called it the evil eye or something like that. I don't remember. I think the evil eye or something like that. But it was just like a thing that you have that has handles. We've seen this a million times before. The only difference is that they only made you do one round. I remember those always being 2 out of 3, but it is what it is. The bigger people won both times. Chris beat Lewis and Desi beat Amanda. I mean, they did respectable, especially Amanda. It looked like she just held on while she was being thrown around. It looked almost like not as bad, but it looked somewhat like a LT versus Ace. Like it wasn't like she was getting slammed on the ground all that many times, but it was a case of her being like picked up and shaken multiple times. So there's that. Desi and Chris. Okay, so they have a choice. They give them a choice whether they are going to go back to their team or pick another team to go to. I forgot what they call that, but we've seen that before too. Chris decides to return to the blue team. That makes sense. They're pretty much been the strongest team thus far. And Desi, who is the team captain of the green team, leaves the green team, goes to the blue team, takes off Alyssa Snyder. Sheesh, man. So it's like it's 2 things, right? Hold on, I want to pull up my list if I can find it. Because I have my list that I always keep handy of who's on what team. Okay, I found it. So the blue team is now gonna have Cassidy, Johnny Bananas, Tori, Fessy, Alyssa Lopez, Sebastian, Desi, and Chris. This team is by far the most stacked team. This team is by far the most stacked team. But it could be a double-edged sword. It's just like what's her name? I can't even think of her name. Desi. It's just like what Desi was saying in the confessional. It's like that team provides her the most protection in terms of the best option to win daily challenges. But the other side of this double-edged sword, right, is the fact that this is a team with a huge amount of targets on their back. So if they ever lose a challenge, anyone can get it. This is not a team with like one obvious choice to take out. Because if you look at it, not Corey, Bananas, Tori, Fessy. I guess they could go for Bananas and Tori on that team, but I think that since there's other vets on other teams, they would throw other names in the hat as well. So it would be an equal opportunist thing. I kind of like the way that things are shaping up. I like the fact that you can switch teams. Um, Wes was saying that he thinks that Banana should have left Corey on the team and taken like somebody else off of the team instead of Corey, because he was like, we should all make a team of just the vets versus everybody else. It might be too early for that. I think their best bet is quite honestly having vets on each team. I know it sucks for Wes now to be basically the lone vet on his team. And then on the red team, Josh lost Johnny and Polly already. And Bananas. So him and Corey would be the number one targets on that team. But to have them distributed is kind of the only shot that they have of taking any control of this game. So today, they finally lost a non-vet, which was Lewis. Although the vet was the player was on Wes's team, but they lost somebody who was not a potential number, because Lewis was always going to vote to get out the vets. They also lost Amanda. She was a girl that they were always going to go against. Actually, when I'm looking at these numbers right now, the only MTV veteran woman that they have left now is Tori. So if Tori wins and it's a girls' day, that automatically means that non-vets are going home. So they have taken out Amanda and they have taken out Janae. So they've taken out two of the three veteran, the two of the three veteran women already. There's only one left. And the blue team is stacked. So if the blue team wins, somebody else that is not one of them somebody else is going to have to go home. And they already took out Amira, who was one of their easier choices, I guess. And yeah, they're going to have to go after somebody else. They're going to have to go soon after their alliance members. But I tend to feel like they're going to use this Michelle thing. They're going to use this Michelle thing as a reason to possibly be like, okay, she was not true to our alliance, so we're going to end up throwing her in. But it's shaping up to be a great season, y'all. Even though I'm upset about this disadvantage that they gave the vets, I'm happy overall that the season has been so interesting. It's not an obvious season where we know exactly where everything is going. There's so many moving parts to it. I'm enjoying it. Thank you for giving us the Challenge USA 2. Thank you for putting challengers on it. I still can't wait for All-Stars 4, though. I was excited about the roster. It's been done and recorded. I'm waiting for that to drop. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. This is my Challenge USA episode 4 recap. Thank y'all for joining me here. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. And I shall be back. Whenever I find out about who won this, who gets selected as the replacement nom for this power veto ceremony for Big Brother, I'll be back on here in a blaze of glory, letting y'all know all the tea of everything that's going on. All right, so I'll talk to y'all soon.
So you literally were one of my very first followers, and then when you followed me and I, followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on everything.
That wasn't planned.
You know what? But I like this Canadian.
Well, thank you.